Hey guys, Spiderbot here. Want to talk about Black Ops 2 again? Of course, Black Ops 2. It's always Black Ops 2 these days. Hey, month and a half, baby. But wanted to just get your opinions on what you thought about Call of Duty Black Ops 2 being potentially the most balanced Call of Duty ever. And I know they tried. They worked really hard. Treyarch worked really hard at trying to balance Black Ops, and I thought it was fairly well balanced, like from a weapons perspective. Let's say strictly from a weapons perspective. Even though there were certain weapons that people thought were better than others, such as the FAMAS and the AK-74U possibly, but overall, I thought it was well balanced. And I think those are the comments you get back from people. I mean, I don't think people complain nearly as much about weapon imbalances or OP stuff in Black Ops 2 than they did in like Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3. So I think they did a good job. But the way they've set up everything in Black Ops 2 is going to presumably allow them to tweak to a far greater detail. Not only are we looking at that from a score streak perspective, which we've already discussed in a previous video, as well as weapon attachments. So, you know, the score streaks, they can modify. They can modify the points, they can modify assist points, they can tweak them up and down, whatever they want to do as the game progresses. If they find that a particular score streak is more overpowered than others or more overused, everybody's using it, then they can tweak it. They can make that particular score streak less powerful or require more points in order to obtain that reward. So I think there's a lot of flexibility, and it also allows more flexibility in trying to promote people to play objectives. And we've seen that in the Gamescom footage. For more points for bomb plants, more points for flag captures, more points for whatever the objective might be. You're getting more points if you're either trying to achieve the objective or you're getting kills within the area of the objective or the general vicinity. So, and again, going to the weapon attachments are all weapon specific, and they've pulled all the effects again that used to be perks. Some of the perks that you used to have in Black Ops and Modern Warfare 3, etc., that actually are, quote, you know, kind of impacting the weapon. They've pulled those into the attachments so that they can tweak attachments. Not only can they tweak the weapons themselves, you know, fire rates, accuracy. What the hell just happened there? Wow, lagging. You know, accuracy, that sort of thing. They can also tweak the attachments. So, you know, you have a red dot sight or a scope attachment, you get increased accuracy, you have a silencer, you have reduced range, and they can tweak those per weapon, which I think some of that they used to be able to do, but not with regards to the perks, because the perks would impact all weapons. Now, seeing as it's pulled back to attachments, they can now do that on a weapon-by-weapon basis, attachment-by-attachment basis. Even going to the perks themselves, and we haven't seen much tweaking of perks. I don't know if we saw too much in Modern Warfare 3. I know they touched upon the SitRep Pro. They tweaked that, but outside of that, I don't think in all previous CODs there has been a huge tweaking happening with the actual perk system, the perks themselves. And I'm going to refer to an article that was just posted by VG247 about David Vonderhaar discussing some of the tweaking and nerfing of perks. And, you know, the title of the video, Black Ops 2, I can nerf perks and I will, mark my words. Vonderhaar gets tough. And the thing is, I mean, what he says here, and I'm going to read you what he says, because it makes sense, to a point, okay? So we've simplified, and this is him speaking, we've simplified that so perks only ever affect your character. And more importantly, Black Ops 2 perks aren't absolutes. In Black Ops, their only balancing options were to remove the perk or keep it. Although in Modern Warfare 3 they had the ability to balance it, but so now they've obviously incorporated that from Modern Warfare 3 into Black Ops 2. Now we can tune any perk by increments to nerf it or improve it. I can nerf perks and I will, mark my words. A perk should never be something you need just to compete. A perk is, I got a parking spot or the soda machine gave me free soda. Your life shouldn't depend on it. The community helped me understand that, and that's why our new system has no absolutes. We can try to make it the most balanced COD ever. So, I mean, that's fantastic news on the surface, okay? So they can go in and, you know, I've played, I actually haven't played in a while, but Diablo 3. Diablo 3, they're always, you know, Blizzard's always looking at the stats from Diablo 3. You know, what characters players are running and what traits they're running, what skills, etc., that they're running. And if, you know, the majority of players, the vast majority of players is running a certain skill set, then they'll tweak that because, you know, from their standpoint, they feel that there should be a balance. You shouldn't, you know, everybody shouldn't be dependent on a certain skill set or perk or whatever or weapon. So they take those that are being used the most and they would nerf them, right? To sort of promote the use of others or buff the others to bring them up to that same level of those other perks or traits so that people would begin to use them. And while that's all fine and great and everything, the only problem I have with it, and I've seen it in some other games, is that the tweaking can just go on and on. And, you know, if I'm playing multiplayer, and especially from a competitive standpoint, while on one side it's great that we can nerf all these things, we can buff them, we can tune them, we can tweak them, you know, we can do this on a weekly basis, a daily basis if need be, but, you know, from a multiplayer's perspective, I'm getting used to a certain skill set, let's say, or a certain class configuration, certain perks or certain weapons, and you start getting used to them, and then all of a sudden, you know, 2 days later, oh, they adjusted the stats for, you know, 2 out of whatever number of perks and weapons I was using. Well, all of a sudden, the feel of that weapon has totally changed. And hopefully you guys can relate to this. I mean, if I use a weapon quite frequently, like, I really get accustomed to it. I know its little nuances. I know, you know, sort of how the recoil is going to work. I know approximately what range I can get kills from, what range I'm going to have to burst fire with. And that's just, you know, that's experience having used that weapon a great deal. And I tend to use weapons, you know, stick to one weapon, so or one or a couple of weapons, and really get used to those weapons. So if things are changing on, you know, a daily basis or a weekly basis, and the weapons are being adjusted and nerfed and buffed and whatever, I mean, it just throws that all of whack. You sort of got to get used to it again. It's not, you know, acting as it did like 2 days ago. And particularly from a competitive standpoint, you know, on one side, you want things to be adjusted because you feel there's an imbalance there, but at the same time, I mean, you don't want things adjusted all the time. So I really think it's going to be a great thing that there's so much tuning and tweaking that can be had for Black Ops 2 across the board. I really hope that Treyarch does their best to get things nailed down as much as possible, as you know, prior to the release of the game. Because I think if you just start changing things on too regular basis, you may alienate those people that, you know, you're trying to appease by implementing these sorts of things in your code. So it's just going to be a balance. It's going to be a balance, and I just hope and pray that that Treyarch, you know, will implement a proper balance of tweaking and really only do it when it's needed. I mean, if a weapon is slightly overpowered, I'm not, you know, quote unquote overpowered. I hate that word. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. I mean, there are gonna be, you know, and there should be some guns that are better than others. That, you know, all the guns shouldn't be balanced. Let's put it that way. I mean, why should all the guns be balanced? There should be some that are better in certain traits than others, you know, like fire rate or accuracy, etc. I mean, otherwise, why would you have more than one gun in each category? Why would you have more than one SMG? Why would you have more than one assault rifle, right? If you're just going to tune them so that they're all basically act the same and they're the same gun and they're completely balanced versus each other in all stat categories, then there would only be one weapon in those categories. So we'll see how it pans out. Like I said, again, I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to see what kind of tuning that they can do. And I'm really, again, just crossing my fingers and hoping that they're going to have the majority of this tuning completed before the game releases. But unfortunately, you know, there's no public beta. They only have the limited ability, and it's going to be based on the feedback and the data that comes back on the use of the guns and the attachments and the perks. That's when you're going to start to see and have the ability just to start tweaking based on, you know, hundreds of thousands of users' data in the game once the game is launched. So we'll see what happens. Keeping the fingers crossed again. And that's it. I'm Spider, and I'm out.